Well, let's get some analysis on his language there with France 24's Philip Turle. Philip, how should we understand what Lavrov had to say there?
Well, if you go back to the start of this war on the 24th of February, remember that the original aim by the Russians was to come into Ukraine with their special military operation to denazify the country, to take control of the capital, Kyiv, and to kick out Volodymyr Zelensky. Well, that program that was due to take 3 days, 4 days to liberate Ukraine didn't come off the way the Russians expected, and they had to pull back and then decided to concentrate their efforts in the Donbas region, notably Luhansk and also Donetsk. And as far as they're concerned there's been some progress in Luhansk, which has been captured by Russian forces, but so far not the whole of Donetsk. So what we see here is, I think, an attempt by the Russians to say to the West, look, you've got to stop supplying weapons to the Ukrainians, because if you do carry on supplying weapons to them, then we're going to launch more attacks further west, which shows basically that Vladimir Putin's aim is a land grab of Ukraine. He wants to get as much of that land as possible. And it's not just a question of trying to liberate it from the so-called Nazi occupation, which was the original excuse. I think the second reason that Lavrov may be saying this is also a word of warning to the West that they've got to stop supplying weapons, because the weapons that they are supplying are giving the Ukrainians more of a level playing field as far as it comes to trying to fight off the Russians, and the Russians may be a bit worried about that.
What, therefore, do you think the reaction is likely to be from the Ukrainian government and indeed from those Ukrainian allies that are supplying the weapons?
Well, I don't think there's going to be any change in the way that they are treating this war. Certainly not on the part of Volodymyr Zelensky. I don't think certainly from the part of the United States or the European Union, they are quite resolute in their support for the Ukrainian leadership. I think they may view this as being Russia expressing, without wanting to do so, a weakness in the fact that up until now they haven't threatened the West directly like they are here, saying don't supply any more weapons, because if you do, we're going to move further west. Well, that was the original plan by Vladimir Putin back in February, to take control of the whole country. So I think what we're seeing here from the Russians is the fact that yesterday, Vladimir Putin went to Iran, where he met with the Iranian leadership and the Turkish leadership. He didn't obtain everything he wanted. There doesn't seem to have been an agreement, as far as the Americans are saying, on the supply of drones to the Russians. Russia is quite isolated at the moment in the world, and becoming even more so with the biting of sanctions against the country. So this may be an admittance of some kind of weakness on the part of the Russians, saying, OK, the West, don't keep supplying weapons to the Ukrainians, because we might stop where we are, but if you do, we're going to keep pushing further backwards, and that's going to make the situation much worse. And he's appealing, Lavrov, here to those in the West who may be frightened of seeing this war becoming a war of attrition and not ending anytime soon.
Philip Turle, thanks very much indeed for your analysis.